Hey, what's going on, everyone? Justin here, and in this video, I just want to share the 11 books I was able to pick up during the month of February. It's a little weird because I didn't get any of them myself, per se. I was gifted 5 of them, and Publisher sent me the other 6 or so. So, yeah, just kind of an odd one. But anyways, let's just go ahead and get into it because there's a lot of cool ones kind of going on. So first up, we got After the North Pole, a story of survival, myth-making, and melting ice by Erling Kage, and he is a famous, I think it's Norwegian, I want to say, yeah, Norwegian, like adventurer explorer person. I don't even know what you call it. There's like a cool like picture of him as well, so you can like see that there. But his claim to fame was him and his friend in 1990 were able to get to the North Pole based on their own, just like manpower. So I thought that was pretty cool. Let me just read it here for a sec. In 1990, Erling Kage and his friend Borge Usland became the first people ever to reach the pole without dogs, without depots, and without motorized aids, skiing for 58 days from a drop-off point on the edge of Canada's northernmost island. It is an example of what best-selling author Robert McFarlane has called Kage's extraordinary life in wild places. And after the North Pole, Kage recounts the history of the territory's exploration, probes the psychological motivations for such a quest, explores the North Pole's place in legend and art, and describes the incredible physical challenges he and others have endured on the cold, unforgiving ice. If that doesn't sound like a cool like exploration adventure book, I don't really know what will. I definitely resonate with a lot of the kind of the colder stuff, dealing with like tundras or the poles or the Antarctic, anything like that, just because I live in the middle of nowhere, and it was like today it was like 10 degrees and like 40-mile-an-hour winds and blowing snow and everything like that. So yeah, like I said, anything to do with ice and snow and stuff, I definitely have like a soft spot for. The sounded just super awesome, so thank you to Harper One for sending me that one. And talking about like ice and snow, I've been growing out a beard here vaguely, because it's like winter time or something. So long as I've ever had it. Let me know what you think what you think of my beard and stuff, because I've had a lot of different mixed opinions from like people that I've met that have not seen me with like long facial hair and stuff. But anyways, next up we got El Cid, The Life and Afterlife of a Medieval Mercenary by Nora Beren. Thank you to Pegasus for sending me this one, and I think they sent me the next one as well. But I wanted to learn. I love medieval histories, and El Cid is just a figure that I thought was more or less legend, more than so. I knew he must have been like probably a real person at some point, but you learn that who the real El Cid was based on the historical sources that have come down to us. What do we know for sure? What might have happened in this kind of thing or other? But also, the majority of the book is actually dealing with how different political factions over the next 1,000 years have kind of utilized El Cid's memory and symbolic status for their own purposes, whether that is reconquering Spain, especially like with Francisco Franco's fascist regime after the Spanish Civil War through the 70s. In Spain, for example, but other factions as well, kind of doing the whole like brotherhood of man kind of thing with him, which neither of those cases were really that accurate to the historical El Cid. So you'll learn all about really what the truth of the matter is, but also like how people have kind of manipulated, like I said, his symbolic status for their own purposes. Next up is Dark Brilliance, The Age of Reason, from Descartes to Peter the Great by Paul Strathern. Now, Paul Strathern is an author that I've read, I think, one of his other books. Oh, what was it? I think it was on the Medici, if I remember correctly. But anyways, I did enjoy that one. So when I saw this one, I had read a book as a buddy read last year on the Enlightenment. There was a huge, like monstrous, I think it was like 900 pages or something like that. I think this is taken the kind of this Enlightenment idea, but more from like the scientific revolution perspective. And the 1600s and 1700s is something I'm starting to like maybe read more on lately than I used to. Like years ago, I used to always say on my channel, once we hit the Renaissance, I basically just trail off as far as like historical reading and everything. But the past like 2 years, I've been trying to try to be disciplined and actually branch out and read a little bit more on like kind of more modernish stuff over the past 3 or 4 or 500 years and stuff to kind of fill in a lot of the gaps. And I really enjoyed that the book on the Enlightenment. So when I saw this, I was like, yeah, this will be kind of awesome as well. Just because there's only one big section on the scientific revolution in that. But granted, like each section was like 80 pages if I remember correctly. But I think I'll really like kind of a book just on the whole like scientific revolution, everything like that. All right. Next up is Crown, who sent me The Fate of the Day, which is a monstrous, like 800-page book on the American Civil War. This is actually volume 2. This is The War for America from Fort Ticonderoga to Charleston, 77 to 1780. So I did read The British Are Coming last month in February here to kind of I guess prepare myself for this one, which I'm not sure I'll probably read it this month, just because that's a lot of American. I don't read that much American history. That might be a little bit too much, like back to back. But probably in the next month, probably in April, I'll get to this one as well. I really enjoy Rick Atkinson's like writing style. I thought that was really well done. He's probably I think he's most famous for his Liberation trilogy, dealing with the liberation of Europe during World War II. I think he won the Pulitzer for the first one, The Guns at First Light, I think it is, in that trilogy. But I can definitely see why this one will also be another hat trick. Like I said, the first one was really, really good. Made me write down a couple of different rabbit holes that I need to like research and find books on and that kind of thing. I'm hoping, one of the things I'm hoping in this one, during this time period, there's actually like a naval expedition up I think it was the Penobscot River in Maine here, that's a complete disaster. But I only know about it from like doing my kind of deep dive research after reading the first one. So I'm hoping there's actually some information on that debacle in a way. Like I said, I just find that kind of stuff interesting. So hopefully this one pans out as well. Next up, we have Land Power. Who has it, who doesn't, and how that determines the fate of societies by Michael Albertus. This was sent by Basic Books, so thank you to them for that one. And this is definitely going to fit into like kind of my social issues books that I read actually quite a few last year. I'm not sure. I did read Guns in America or something along those lines this month, past month. You'd think I'd have that like off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure it's on my table here, but wait there, One Nation Under Guns. Anyways, that's only like kind of social cultural issue one that I read so far this year, and I thought it was pretty mediocre, if not that good. So I'm hoping this one is a little bit better. Obviously, 2 different topics, but this is dealing with I guess land inequality throughout the entire world. It's not just based in like the United States and stuff. There's examples from like several different continents, many different countries and stuff, and kind of how this disparity causes a lot of economic and financial problems, social unrest and things like that. Not to mention obviously conquered and occupied territory and land and things along those lines. I don't know much about that kind of stuff, especially outside of the United States. So I think this will definitely be like kind of an eye-opening, enlightening kind of book, and I'm hoping to learn quite a bit from it. Next up, we have When the Earth Was Green by Riley Black, Plants, Animals, and Evolution's Greatest Romance. Thoroughly enjoyed this one. I probably will be doing a review of it at some point in the near future as well. But I was sent this by St. Martin's Press, so thank you to them for that. First of all, just look at that cover. Just thought it was super fantastic. And what this book is I think it's about 15 or so different vignettes over the history of planet Earth since plants had evolved in all the different biomes and ecosystems and habitats. Not all of them, obviously, but a bunch of different highlights of how plants and animals have utilized each other for different purposes and stuff to create different, like I said, different ecosystems. And several of them I had no knowledge of before, so it was just super delightful to read. And the author does include why she includes the specific species that she talks about in each chapter at the end of the book. So I thought that, looking back, I think I did talk a little bit about that in my wrap-up video, but kind of looking back on it now, after giving it a couple, another day or two to think about it, I kind of like it now. So I'm not when I do the full review, I'll probably explain that a little bit more. But I definitely really enjoyed this one. And then lastly, the 5 books that I was gifted. I have 4 of them right here, and they were all a bunch of Oxford very short introduction books that I was gifted. So I thought that was really cool, really nice. So we have, what we got? We got Invasive Species by Julie Lockwood and Dustin Welburn. Particle Physics by Frank Close. Albert Camus by Oliver Gloag, and Systems Biology by Eberhard O. Voigt. I also did get the 5th one that I don't have with me on me right this second is Bacteria. So 4 science ones plus, Albert Camus for existential absurdist philosophy. I think that'll be pretty awesome as well. Thoroughly just enjoy these books. I don't know, like there's something about them. There's about 800 of them. I probably will be doing a video at some point of like the ones I've read and stuff as well. I don't know. I think they have topics on anything and anything you can like think of almost. So just like as an example, let's just like flip over to like one of them. Let's see. Starting right here, we got let's see. I don't know why I turned the page. We got Memory, Metaphysics, Methodism, the Mexican Revolution, Michael Faraday, Microbiology, Microeconomics, Microscopy, the Middle Ages, Military Strategy, Minerals, Miracles, Modern Architecture. Like I said, there's 800 of them, and they're on all kinds of things from under the sun. I'd say it's like a good 3 or 4 to 1 ratio of good to great. And then like maybe like the one is like a bad one. So there are definitely some flops in there, I felt, but overall just a really solid series with lots of really good books on tons of topics, and they're great introductions, when you don't know anything about kind of what you're getting into. Like particle physics, for example. I have like probably the vaguest, roughest understanding of particle physics, and I'm hoping this book definitely helps me out with that. So there you have it. Those are the books I was able to get in the month of February. Let me know down below what you were able to pick up, what your favorite one that you're most looking forward to reading is that you picked up in February. And always remember, whatever you do end up reading, read victoriously.